Houston is 27-4 after winning the Big 12 regular season title outright for the second consecutive year. We're now joined by the head coach of the Cougars, Kelvin Sampson, a man who has become synonymous with the month of March. And Kelvin, welcome. What does March mean for you?
It's graduation day in some ways. Your new kids get here in June. Your returning players are with them for the first time when summer school starts. Usually that first Monday in June. And then you're in all your classes through the summer. Then once you get to September, it gets a little more serious. We start taking midterms. Then October, November, you're getting ready for games. November represents the start of a new season. And then just build. You build, you fall down, you get back up, you build some more. You may fall down again. But ultimately, by the time you get to Christmas, John, the outline of who you are is coming into play. And so when you start conference play, you kind of know where the pitfalls are, strengths and weaknesses of your team, and just keep building. And by the time you get to March, it's exciting. I'm excited for a guy like Milos Uzan, who's never played in the tournament. I'm excited for Mercy and Chase and Cordell, who's never seen the NCAA tournament. So just a lot of excitement. You can tell that Selection Sunday's right around the corner, because everything these kids do, they're a little more giddy. They're excited.
Now, you mentioned some guys who are going to experience the NCAA tournament for the first time, but you have several players back from last year's team that was a number one seed in the NCAA tournament. But you don't have Jamal Shead back, who was one of the great leaders we've seen in recent years in college basketball. But your team is still 27-4. I know you have really high expectations for yourself and your program, but have you exceeded your own expectations with this group?
I think we just try to meet our standards every day. I think what we try to do, whether we're really good at it or not, depends on the interpretation, I guess. But we've always gotten our kids and coaching staff to focus on exactly what's in front of us. Mm-hmm. And while in your business and fans have fun projecting or guessing 2 games down the road, we've always just stayed in the moment. And I think that's what good teams have to do. You can't think about, well, we got to win this one because look who we play next. We don't think that way. We play the game we play. I remember I was watching Troy last night cut down the nets to get the tournament. I remember how we played against Troy early in the year, and we struggled with them. Scott Cross is an excellent coach. They play a style that's not easy to play against. But all those is part of the process to get to be a good team. You're not going to play against teams that play like you all the time. So you got to get outside your comfort zone. But just stand in the moment, focusing on the game in front of you, and get your team to be a team. I think those were my expectations. I didn't have numerical or end-of-the-year record or Big 12 championship. Sure, those are always the goal. But if that's all you're talking about, you're losing sight of what's most important, and that's today's struggles, today's battle. Today's the day we have to win today. So this team became good at that once we established who our leaders were.
Well, another thing about this team that really stands out is the quality depth that you have off the bench. When was the last time you had this many options in reserve?
Probably the team that lost to Kentucky when Tyler Hero hit that 3 that beat us with about 30 seconds to go. I think we were up 3 under a minute to go, and Kentucky made a couple of tough shots. We had a couple of tough possessions, but that team had Dejan Giroux and Nate Hinton coming off the bench at the guard spots, and then we had Bryson Gresham and Fabian White, Justin Gorham. I can't remember who started, but we had a good bench. That team was deep, but this is the deepest team we've had since then.
You've had really good guards during your tenure at Houston. And really, the question was at the start of the season, who was going to be Houston's go-to guy. And in the last couple of weeks, LJ Cryer has taken his game to a completely different level. What has allowed him to morph and what he's morphed into here over the last couple of weeks?
I think maturity and how serious he takes practice. When we got back from Vegas and we were 4-3, and we looked at the big picture of why we were 4-3. The thing that I remember is Milo's fractured his nose and had to have surgery, and he missed 3 weeks prior to us leaving to go. And I think he wound up fouling out. He fouled out of the Auburn game, he fouled out of the Alabama game, and he fouled out of the San Diego State game. He was out of shape. He wasn't ready to go. Javier Francis missed 19 consecutive days of practice with a groin. So I knew our team was going to get better as we went because we needed to get healthy. But playing Auburn was such a great experience for us because we didn't lose that game. We got beat. They beat us. They were better than us that night. Alabama, we had the ball to win the game in regulation, called timeout. I think it's whatever many seconds left, but we had the last shot. Didn't make it, goes to overtime. But Nelson, Sears, Diabate, you could tell they were an excellent team. Then San Diego State, just tough. They were really tough, but all three of those games helped us. Yeah. So once we got back, I sat down and had a talk with LJ, and I said, LJ, you've got to stop sitting in the back seat or the front seat. You got to get under the steering wheel, man. Mm-hmm. You've got to have your voice heard. You've got to hold some guys accountable, just because you never have a bad practice. He never does. He and Marcus Sasser are so similar in how serious they take each day. And you like to see kids have success that have earned it. LJ has really earned the right to succeed. Now, J1 has been a fixture in this program for so many years. Yeah. But the leader of this team this is J1's team, but our leader has been LJ. But those two guys combined as seniors have carried us, especially on the road.
You know, you mentioned J'Wan Roberts, and there was a beautiful moment between you and him at senior day recently, and your emotions came over you, and you guys embraced in an incredible hug. And you hold a high standard to everybody, to your players, to your coaches, to everybody because of what you've created at Houston. But it was so unique to see the other side of you during that moment. What came over you at that time?
Oh, I think, as coaches, we don't have to be their life, but they are our life. They are why we're here. I don't have, my family and my faith have always been important to me, but my hobbies don't come after that. My enjoyable moments in life don't really come after that. My players and my team come next. I'm committed to them. And J1's unique. We redshirted him his first year. So we knew he was going to have 5. And then because of COVID, it gave him an extra year. And he could have left and went elsewhere, but he decided to stay. He invested in us. And when you have an investment that goes both ways and there's an ironclad commitment both ways, that was more of an appreciation for that kid sticking with us and having success at the end. And seeing his mother and his father and his sisters and his family there, seeing that, I got emotional, but it was out of love and the mutual respect we have for each other.
Kelvin, Houston right now is on the verge of being a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament for the 3rd straight season. You've built one of the nation's best programs. And I know that the thing that you're chasing is the only thing you haven't accomplished in your coaching career, and that's winning a national championship. How often does that thought cross your mind about winning a national title?
Well, I was texting with Tom Izzo the other night, and we were I came across something on my phone about Judd Heathcote, and I sent it to Tom, and he sent me a long text back, and we're just talking about our journeys from, Judd getting us started. And of course, Tom's Judd Senior now. And where we started, and we're both, the sun is setting on our careers. We don't know how much time we have left. But I think as my career is winding down here, John, what I'd like to have a national championship. I think, and please understand, I mean this with all seriousness. I see what our players go through. I think if we won a national championship, I would be more happy for our players, but not me. My career doesn't need to have one for me. Now, other people may have to have it to validate me in their mind, but relationships I've built through the years with our players at every school I've coached, having two grandkids that I absolutely adore and love spending time with, I've learned to enjoy life a little bit more. Like to make a good run at it, but like when Jamal sprained his ankle, you know how fragile it is. You
Yep.
know how easy it could come and it could go. So if God blesses us with that opportunity, that would be awesome. I'd be happy for my family and my players and all my former players. But if it doesn't happen, I'm still the most blessed guy in the world when it comes to coaching basketball.
Well, let's wrap on this. Starting with this week's Big 12 tournament, what are the biggest keys to Houston having a chance to get back to a Final Four and maybe winning that elusive national title?
I think staying locked in on scouting reports, little things. Our staff does an awesome job in preparing our kids with our scouts and having our kids play fearless. Be fearless. I remember talking about that in the huddles on the road in Tucson when we played Arizona. Be fearless in taking that shot. Shoot it. Don't shoot it and hope it goes in.
Right.
Shoot it and know that if it doesn't go in, we got a chance to go get the offense rebound and tip it in. But you shoot that shot. And LJ stepped back and hit two big threes down the stretch. Milo's made a big three. But I want us to continue to play with a fearlessness and a confidence that it's like those old westerns when guys come off that cattle drive and they couldn't wait to get to the saloon to get whatever it is they were looking for, but they swing those doors open and they walk in there and just want to fight somebody. But that's an attitude, man. So I want our guys to swing those doors open and look for a fight and be fearless.
Well, Kelvin, we appreciate a couple minutes, know how busy you are. Safe travels to Kansas City for the Big 12 tournament. And as always, look forward to staying connected with you along the way.
Always good to be on with you, John. Appreciate everything you do for college basketball, brother.
You got it. That's Houston head coach Kelvin Sampson. We will be back after this.